welcome to another My Little Podcast. We are your hosts. I am Bree. I'm here with my father, Gary.
Hello.
My brother, Bryson.
Hello.
And my mother, Shelly.
Hi.
We're coming at you from the pink room in our grandma's house.
It's the pink room. It's
Yeah,
the girls'
It is
room.
the pink room.
That's exactly what this room is called, the pink room. We have a pink room, a green room, and a brown room, I think.
Yep.
Just based on whatever the color of the walls are. So, and Grandma, she cutes up each individual one, too.
She does.
Pictures of people, like this one here. Picture of Shae.
Mm-hmm.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
A very long time
She's
ago.
with a one of the cows we have.
Yeah.
Cool.
Our Jersey had a little baby. We named her Chloe, and she was with that one. Yeah. So.
Oh, she's with Chloe?
Yeah, that's Chloe.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Did
Cool.
we have quite the traveling week? That this is the last day of the traveling week.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Lots of going around, and we spent an entire day out on another location today.
Yep.
So lots of
He's
crazy
got
stuff.
Bryson has a little red.
Oh, yes.
We hiked.
I
Can we
am
talk about the
sunburned.
hike?
My ears are
Yeah.
probably
Let's
sunburned.
talk about the hike.
We were
Sure.
sunburned.
It was said to be
Easy.
1.5 miles and easy,
Yeah.
which it wasn't too bad.
No.
That wise, it was pretty
No,
easy. The
wasn't too
temp was
bad.
a little hot to be hiking. I
Yeah,
think. But
that
anyway,
was a little-
it was fine.
Yeah.
But
Like
you know,
110 degrees.
it wasn't
hot.
It wasn't
But it's
that.
fine.
It wasn't that
It
bad.
It's
was
boiling.
It was all the horseflies.
Oh.
Kept nipping at our legs and arms.
Okay,
And
so I'll tell you
Yikes.
that. Okay, so like when you say horsefly, I'm used to this little fly about this big, gray. It doesn't do much.
Gray.
These guys, they're like that big, and they're like an inch, okay, and they're
Yeah.
black. They look like bumblebees.
They
Those
sound
big
like a
black
747
bees.
coming
Like,
in.
whoa. And then like
They
kept,
bite you through
smacking
your
them out of
shirt.
the air, and yeah, they'll like land on you, bite you
on
through your shirt. And then that wasn't it.
Crazy.
That was just the kings and queens. The little worker ones,
Oh,
they were
yes.
little tiny ones, and they were gray.
Yeah.
And they
Like a light gray.
swarmed. I mean,
Yeah.
just swarmed your legs.
You had to
Any
walk
piece
fast.
of skin you had.
And even walking
I
fast, I
probably
still
killed-
had some.
Yeah.
I killed
You
10 or
had kind
20
of a
them.
swarm.
It's like-
You had a whole army of ones at your legs, and I didn't want to tell you, but they were like everywhere, and I kept eyeballing like, don't get too close to him because they might veer off.
Oh,
No.
I gotta tell you something.
As a
So
matter of fact,
If
go
I
get
come-
Dad. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
I actually have to tell you something on that. Mom had her longer legs on, so they
her
were
longer
longer legs on.
Longer legs
Sorry.
on.
Longer legs.
Longer
Put on her longer
pants.
legs this morning.
Longer pants
I
on.
was actually, to start out with, I was really regretting that I had wore my capris and was wishing I would have had shorts on.
Yeah.
But I quickly learned that I made a really good decision in
Oh,
choosing.
wonderful.
Yes, it was a wonderful decision.
The three of
But
us.
here's the thing. They were swarming your pants. And they landed all over it. And I kept going, I was saying to Bria, I thought, I shouldn't walk by Mom in case all those decide to latch on to me.
And Mom's
Well,
like,
I
oh, they're not
did.
biting me. It's not
I
like
ended
you.
up walking by you, and I regretted it because the whole swarm moved over, and all of a sudden, all over my legs.
Well, you guys said you got a bunch on the back of your legs, and I'm like, I don't care. They're not biting me. I don't feel it. So just,
a big deal.
I'll
You're
give
like-
them a ride.
You just like got the sassy walk on. Well, they're not bothering me, but they biting you guys.
What bugs?
They're my friends. I don't know what they're doing to you.
I kept smacking them and getting them on my legs because they're everywhere.
They were.
Everywhere.
They were
crazy.
everywhere. It was unbelievable. I was not expecting that one. I was expecting heat. I was not expecting horseflies. That was a new
And there
one.
was heat,
Yeah, that was weird.
Oh yeah,
That
there
weird.
was that too.
but it was a beautiful area.
There was
It just
water.
gorgeous.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was really weird because there was water,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
And there's like a little tiny creek or whatever. And then maybe 100 feet in either direction, it would be desert. I mean, just
Yeah.
plain out desert, 110 degrees, but hot, and it was just like right there.
Yeah.
It's like water right there, and then boom.
They called it
was
an
weird.
oasis. That's what it really is. So,
Yeah, that makes a lot of
That's why.
sense. But
yeah.
it was just like, whoa,
Can we talk some more
such a
about
difference.
Yeah.
it? Okay. What was really cool at the end, and we'll probably talk some more about this later, but what was really cool at the end is that there was a place where train tracks came in, and we don't know for sure. I did see some lumber and stuff around. They may have done a roundabout there and then come back, but they came to this area where it looks like there was probably a staging area for bringing in borax, which I think is what was being mined there. So they bring
bringing
the
out borax.
Yeah, bringing out borax. So they would have, remember the borax mule teams, and they got the borax in the back, and there's this big, 6 or 8 or 10 horses or mules, and on the soap, if you actually look at a lava soap, you'll see that. And anyway, very cool, very cool. And then they would train it out, and it would go someplace else. Very cool.
It's very cool. There's even like leftover like what looked like white. I mean, I don't know if it's borax,
Oh, I'm
but
sure it was.
it looked like it was, left over there.
Mhm.
It was very interesting.
Very cool.
It was a great hike. It got a little bit too toasty for me at some point, which I didn't think was happening. Like, no big deal. I'm from the desert. It's not. And I enjoyed, I didn't feel like it was overheated, but like my body was like, we're overheated. I don't know how you're feeling, but it's too hot.
Well, we were out there in the afternoon. Probably not the best choice.
Yeah, we went
Yeah.
at the time you want to be inside taking a nap. We were outside, just.
And we kept
Walking
thinking
in the
we
middle of the
were
desert.
trying to get to the water, and we kept thinking, oh, it's just around one more corner. It's just around one more corner.
It wasn't just water though. Let's be a little more specific because we were walking by water for a good chunk of the least parts of the. They
2 minutes
promised
into it.
us a
waterfall.
waterfall, and
Just like where we
okay,
live.
so if you're from the desert areas, they'll
Yeah.
say, "Oh, it's a creek. Oh, it's a river."
Right.
No, it's a wash.
It's a wash.
And
There's
so
nothing in
It's
it.
no water.
There's
in
no
it.
water
There-
in it,
yeah,
but they
there's
call it a
never-
river and whatever, and you're
was
like,
nice of
okay,
them.
whatever. But anyway, that's what this was. It was a waterfall at one point in its life. It was a waterfall.
And I looked at the pictures too, and you look at it, and they make it look like it's really big.
Yeah.
But if you look at the surroundings, it's really only like a 5-foot drop.
Yeah,
Like
it
it's
was
very small.
I don't know
like-
what water was falling, but didn't go far.
It was fun.
It was fun though.
But
So
yeah,
what,
it
you
was
got
fun.
some questions
Okay,
and
so
stuff from last week?
So in last week's video, we featured the bottle house, and Shae was starting the conversion of Ellie's wedding dress into a summer dress, and then we had a third subject in there somewhere at
It
some
was,
point.
Aquaponics.
they gave a
Oh, the
little
update.
update on the
Yeah, and that's
aquaponics,
right, and-
Karen and Ellie.
That's right.
Yeah, so we had all that fun jazz. M. Hopper, which has a very sharp eyeball,
Oh,
said
do we have a backwards dog again?
no,
Oh, good.
not
That
well.
was a week, 2 weeks.
I'd say that this is probably to the same level of the
Really? Okay, let's
Really?
hear it.
I don't
I didn't
know.
even know
Now
about
we're
that. Let's hear
I'm
it.
really hyping this up. But anyway, M. Hopper said, "Shae, is your green hands an attempt at having a green thumb? Well, lady, you didn't overdo it by making both your you overdid it by making you didn't overdo it by making both your hands green. LOL, love you guys. Thumbs
Oh,
up."
that's great. That's great.
I did see another one, and I wish I had the name, though. Did you see the one that said, is the green hands a prelude as to what we're going to see next week?
Dun dun
Dun,
dun.
Dun,
Yes, it
dun, dun. Yes, it is. Way
Yes.
to blow it, Mom.
And not to hype that anymore. Yes, yes, it is.
That was easy.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. This Dorothy Cook had just a really neat comment. I thought I'd read here. She said, "We are sisters. I can't toss bottles. I'm working on a play area for our granddaughters, and I'm planning on using the bottles. I buy sparkle water and juices, and even sometimes buy liquids just for the bottle," with a little winky face. A favorite quote: "Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world." And that's an Albert Einstein
Ooh, I
quote.
like that.
Interesting.
Something will come to you. Creative minds are amazing.
Oh, that's cool.
Very
cute.
cool.
So yeah, to use the bottles as a play thing sounds really
Yeah.
like fun.
Wouldn't you like to see that? I mean, when she gets it done.
Okay, let's see here. I'm sorry, it's been a little. I screenshotted these. Now. Okay, this I think we'll probably come back around to that comment. Okay, so Danny Sawtell says, "We made Christmas stockings from my daughter's wedding dress, a family of boys. From her wedding dress, so sweet to see them hanging."
Oh, that's a
cool.
great idea. Oh,
That's
how
cool.
precious.
I know. Can you
Every
imagine? It's
year
just
you
wonderful.
can pull them
You
out.
have to pull 'em out. It's like that's one
Good
thing
idea.
too. That's like
cool.
it's special. It doesn't hang around all year round, but but it's like it's double special. You know?
Yeah, because then every time we bring them out, it's that memory.
Yeah,
you
and you
know.
keep them forever. Like you have the stocking forever. So
That's a great
that's
idea.
that's a
That's
really,
really
cool.
cool.
Idea.
Very cool.
So we had a question that we had posed in the video when we went around that stagecoach. Is that what it's called? It was wooden, and we were wondering if
The
was it a caboose?
train,
Caboose.
the
Was it a
train
caboose?
car or
Train
something.
car.
Train
yeah.
car,
Caboose, I
something like
think,
that?
or something
Caboose?
like
Something?
a caboose, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. And we had questions about it being wood and like what
Yeah,
that would
like
be.
was that real?
So my dad, Lynn Voyager 59 says, "My dad worked in Queensland, Australia. railways as a wagon builder, basically a carpenter. Rail wagons were built in wood for quite a long time before changing to metal construction. So much nicer than the modern carriages.
Oh.
And then
Interesting.
I saw somebody say that in the 1880s they did them out of wood as well. So unfortunately I don't have that comment with me here, but
Yeah, you'd think, I guess it's fine, but yeah, for some reason in my mind, I'm thinking if those wooden things were on the rails, they would like shake apart or something. But I guess it's a nice smooth ride, and
I bet they did shake. I bet there were some loose boards. I mean, it would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, there had to be carpenters.
But I mean,
in there
that
to tighten them up. And
those rails would have been smoother than probably any dirt road out there too. So I mean, it would
was
be
probably a smoother ride.
But still,
yeah.
you're right. Be bouncing around.
yeah, and
They would have to make some really good suspension.
Yeah, or just leave it. I feel like in those times it's like, wow, it's moving. Leave it.
Someone's moving. Leave it.
So the next question was, on the boxcar children, was it wood or metal?
Oh,
Did
no,
we
I
get
didn't
that
get a
one?
confirmation on
They
that.
never
one.
referenced. I don't
Well,
think
you
ever.
can say never, but I bet you it did. But I don't remember.
Well, the
It's been a
front of
long
the
time.
picture, the book has a metal one.
Was there ever a fire inside one of the boxcars?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I was thinking, speaking of fire, I was thinking, man, you have all of your cars made out of wood. You have issues with fire at some point. I mean, I would think the metal would be.
Yeah, what
you're
happens
not
if
gonna
one
worry about
train
it.
catches on fire, or like one cart of the entire
I mean,
train?
there's fire going on.
I mean,
these
wouldn't it
steam
just go?
engines, right?
Wouldn't it just go down the
It
line?
could.
Dun dun dun. Anyway,
The whole train,
if it's
vanished,
moving,
literally.
If it happened towards the front, everything would burn behind it. But if it was the last car,
Just keep moving.
you get there and go, crap, what happened to the happened to the last car?
I suppose if we watched old westerns, they probably have cars on our trains on fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
well,
be
they have
great.
everything on fire. I'm pretty
big
sure something has
explosions.
always
Hollywood
been.
right there.
And big explosion. I remember what was the movie we were watching? It was kind of a westerny movie, and they were transporting nitroglycerin, and like it was in this like
that's Zorro,
suspended
probably.
thing.
Yeah.
Is it Zorro?
Zorro?
And I always
No,
it was
no.
always-
No.
No, that was.
I don't remember, but it was
Wild Wild West. The newest
like
one.
they had the things and it was like bouncing.
Yeah.
It was
And
like
they're like,
scary.
Don't touch it, and then it's like, oh, it'll explode if it moves, and you're like, dude, have you seen the clip? It's everywhere. Okay, so Dina Stokes says, if you guys are ever in Southern California desert, there's a bottle house in Calico Ghost Town that you can walk through.
Interesting.
I
We
would
gotta go to
love
Calico now.
Calico. We got to look it up on the map, see if we can
Calico.
go do that one.
I
That
wonder where
sounds.
that's at.
Would be fun to go to some bottle houses.
I'm surprised
I
how
didn't-
Heard of
clean
one in
they
Michigan,
are.
too.
This one was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun to take a bottle house trip?
Around the world.
Around the world, and you just go see all the bottle houses.
That'd be cool.
I think they are just
That
about.
would
it.
Or
be
maybe
cool.
just bottle constructions. It
Yeah.
wouldn't have to be bottle houses.
I was quite surprised at how cleanly built. I mean, I realize it's been restored to a certain point, but I'm just surprised at how clean the walls were. I mean, it didn't. Sometimes I feel like
Yeah.
bottles they just
Yeah.
kind of go everywhere at some point.
What
and-
are true testaments to its construction? Because everything else in that town made out of stone is falling down. It's-
Yeah,
That's
and yet
only
the thing made out of
standing.
glass
It
was
made
like.
out of glass.
They probably maintained that one though and didn't on the others.
They were probably like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it's fragile. Don't touch it."
Yeah, it was.
Maybe or something.
It was special even when it was built, as opposed to that other stuff. Or just
Yeah.
it's a school, maybe.
Somebody said there was a movie, something
There was-
Chinatown Express, Samurai, that was made there,
Ah.
and they used one of those old buildings.
Yeah, we had several movies that were mentioned
Oh,
that were
really?
filmed through it.
Oh, okay.
There was some movie that it was a traveling movie, I think, and then they took a wrong turn, and that was the town that they stumbled into or whatever. That was the lost place.
Did they have zombies in it?
Interesting.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
It would remind me of one
well,
of
if
those.
it don't got
throw
zombies,
mama
it's
from the
really not a
train
real
type
movie.
deals. Huh?
If it doesn't have zombies, it's not a real movie.
Yeah. Okay, so James Clark, we did mention we have in that video as well, we had an aquaponic update from Garen in LA. They
Yes.
kind of walk through their stuff, their system. James Clark says, a question about the fish tank. I noticed you cover it with wood. Do fish need sunlight? I mean, even filtered sunlight for underwater growth of some sort. And I don't think that tilapia do
not
they?
really. I don't think fish need sunlight at all, actually. I mean, they like the sunlight. I mean, like anyone, but they don't really need it. If you have plants and stuff in your tank that's in the water with your fish, then obviously those need sunlight. But as far as I understand from
There's
my
probably some
research,
filtered light that probably comes in there too.
yeah,
But,
there's quite a
isn't
bit
the
of light
Marianas
still
Trench-
leaks in there too.
Isn't the Marianas Trench?
Testimony.
Mariatic?
Yeah,
Or
Marianas. Marianas. The one out there in the middle of the
I don't know.
Atlantic,
The very,
7 miles
the deepest
down.
part we know of.
Yeah. Isn't there fish life and stuff down there?
Yeah, there is.
But they don't have
they were
eyes
just
and stuff?
discovering it.
Or have
but
eyes
like,
that don't work and stuff.
the thing is, like, it's so far down, there is no light.
Yeah.
Because the water blocks. It's very interesting how water blocks light like that.
Yeah.
They were showing like a red apple. If you put it under the water, it turns like black. It turns black.
How far
Can't even
down?
see it. It's a sort of certain point it will turn black, and then you just cannot.
Oh.
It's the weirdest thing. And then you pull the apple out, and it's red, but it's just like the light gets. Those certain
Okay,
waves
so-
start to get blocked
Okay,
first.
my brain is losing it over
Oh,
here.
sorry about the apple.
You mean to tell me that if we figure out what that feet is of water, and you made a house made out of however thick that's supposed to be, inside it would be dark?
Yeah.
Well, unless you had a light.
But
No,
this
I
is
mean
the
no
ocean.
outside.
Unless you had a light.
No outside.
Well, I mean,
No,
I,
the-
I
the-
You're
think
down
it-
underwater, you
water.
just reach over and go click.
I think it.
Lights are working.
I think it also depends on the quality of the water too. Like the ocean is that way, but maybe that salt water versus fresh water might be different. Because I know of some pretty clear waters that you can look down in river wise, and you can see the bottom.
Well, even in the Caribbean and stuff like that, they have some pretty clear water out there.
Oh yeah, that's
spots,
true in the
yeah.
ocean too. In
Yeah.
that place,
But,
so
if you're either one of our coasts here, you could, it's pretty murky. There's nothing too clean there.
yeah,
So, anyway.
kind of interesting.
Things that make you
interesting.
go. Well, McClare Calamphone says actually they don't require sunlight, so
Oh,
so they were
You got it
just
right.
Thanks
Good
for
answer,
answering
good
the
answer,
question.
good
Thank
answer.
you.
yeah. I realized I sent it to you and I had the answer on me, but I figured I'd just
We were
reinforce.
testing you.
I was
Good,
reinforcing.
good. I'm glad
what
to
you
know
were
my
already.
fish knowledge can be backed up
Yeah.
because I just wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they
That's good.
continue. Fish living in various environments need sun to grow their food, but not touch their bodies. There are even fish who live in caves and get no sunlight or any other light for that matter. The eyes of these fish have essentially disappeared from disuse.
Gary just said that too. Yeah, you've been confirmed, Gary.
Thank you for confirming that.
Conspiracy confirmed.
I love to be confirmed and affirmed.
Now
about
we
what
just
I
need
do.
to confirm the apple thing when it goes
Yeah.
underwater if it turns
Hey,
black.
hang on.
And
She's
how
probably
far-
got a question
yeah.
answering that already. so-
Probably somewhere out there.
Unfortunately, I was unable to look ahead into this particular conversation for that information, but I do have a comment here by Elizabeth Nenza who says, "Oh, actually, let me
Set this
set
up.
this up just a
Okay.
little bit.
Okay.
You had commented about the patio of that house, of the bottle house, being made of bottles. So Elizabeth Nez says, so back in the day, they used bottles in their floors with good amounts of dirt flooring on top of them. This helped to keep the floors warm. They would do it to in their animal floors as well: pigs, cows, sheep, and goats. So I think when I'm picturing here is that they put the bottles in, and then they put the floors on top of those bottles.
The same way down
I
downward.
must, but I'm
Maybe
not sure if they
sideways?
go traipsing across them. But it
But
looked
then
like
they put dirt on the top. I wonder why that would keep it
Is
warmer.
it to keep a? I mean,
That's
I
interesting.
could
It
be
is
wrong
interesting.
about this, but if there's air, if there's like a cushion of air in between the ground and it's basically lifting it off the ground. And if I understand this correctly, the ground is always very cold or colder. So if you have air cushion in between, maybe that somehow keeps the floor above it warmer.
maybe. I
Maybe
thought it was
that's-
kind of a cool little.
It is cool.
Maybe how that.
It's
Maybe that's how
interesting.
that works. I don't know.
I like it.
That is interesting, though. Very interesting.
So Pippi Long, who we have taken many comments from, in
Yes.
yes, we love Pippi Long. It was her birthday. On,
Oh,
on
happy
Friday. So
birthday, Pippi.
happy birthday,
Happy
Pippi Long!
birthday.
Happy birthday!
Birthdays are cool. You get one every year.
Amazing
Truly.
how that works.
Yep. And the person with the most birthdays is the oldest.
Well, okay, so now off topic of the weekly peek here. Shirley Carter says, "I was wondering what you're doing with the crushed tins in the cage back home." The crushed cans, the
the
cans.
pop cans.
The soda cans.
in the cage. Well, I always have these big dreams, and I don't know if I'll ever get to them, but they're big dreams. The plan was to use them for literally aluminum casting. That was the plan, but I don't know. They're just kind of sitting there. But I don't think they're going to deteriorate. I mean, they're a can, but
Yeah, we got.
Yeah,
you
that's
have
the original plan.
You have an aluminum plan too, with the handles to the door, right?
Yep, that's right.
Well, yeah, and the handles in our bathroom was casted from the pop cans
same
as well.
idea.
So we have castings around the house that are.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the
Have been
original
used.
plan, is to use those for casting. I mean, obviously that's a lot.
You stopped
but
collecting them though when it got
I
full.
I did, because at some point you're like, I'm never going to use these cans in my entire life of casting things at this rate.
Too much
Yeah.
coming in.
So overflow.
So last Wednesday we had we did the truck thing, the
semi truck.
semi truck.
The center bearing, swing bearing. There's been a debate on what name that actually is. I think when you search it, it's center bearing when you go to buy the part. But then we've also heard people mentioning swing bearing. So it's probably more of a center bearing.
Yeah.
But I have no idea.
Well, Bailey was, of course, all of these fixes are for Bailey, and we learned that at the
Oh,
end.
yeah.
So Kelly Singleton says, "What breed of dog is Bailey?" We have a dog that is her exact twin, and don't know what she is.
Well,
Yeah.
Perry said he.
Perry
had
was, he's really curious and had her tested because he
Yeah.
wanted to know
Yeah, he
too.
wanted to know.
And I can't. What was it? It was
She had
Healer,
border collie, healer.
He thinks coyote.
Wolf.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you what
There's
though,
some
we
coyote maybe in there.
saw a coyote
Today.
today, and he said, "Look at the coyote! Look at the coyote! Looks just like Bailey." And he's absolutely right. It
did.
looks just like Bailey.
And run and everything else, just like.
Yeah.
Like Bailey.
So
Yeah.
I don't know how
So
that.
the real question is, when he sent in her blood, did they have any coyote to test it on?
They did not come up with any coyote.
Well, I know, but would they have it in their systems?
I don't know.
Canine.
We don't know.
I mean, she's obviously coyotes aren't black, but the body shape and all that. But yeah, I think that's what. And she came up with a lot too, things
Yeah,
that were
lots of
really
things.
bizarre dogs too. So
Is it terrier? Does she also have terrier in her?
I don't remember Terry.
There
Right.
was in one of them. I
57.
think there was terrier in one.
Oh, okay.
He had her
There was a
tested
lot of
twice
them.
between
Yeah.
two different companies.
And there were like percentages of how much is each
But
one.
the most was border collie. Wasn't one of the
Yes.
most border collie? Yeah. Anyway.
And there was another most one too. But
She'd be
Yeah.
like a really good dog to herd sheep and goats and whatever cattle.
yeah, she would
Yeah,
be.
we've been having a lot of fun with her.
We've been speaking to her, and she'll speak back. It's really quite
Yeah.
fun.
I can't believe how like intense her bark is. Like you would think,
Oh.
oh, Bailey, she's so timid, and she wolfs. You're like,
I know she.
That's
and
aggressive.
she barks. She barks.
yeah. And then you look at her and she's
It's
just wagging her
loud
tail.
and it's low. It's a low and
It's a
loud
low.
bark.
Yeah, it's way lower
You
than
don't expect that from that kind of a dog.
She can project. She's good. Yeah. Well, that whole video, filming that whole video was not to complain because these guys were doing like the hard work. But I had to, get down there for these shots, and I don't know if you know this, but getting under cars and filming is not the most easiest job on planet Earth. There's not a lot of room.
Which is funny because this is a semi, and it probably has the most room I've ever worked on in a vehicle. I could sit up in there.
Yeah,
There's
which
a lot of
which
room.
was exceptional to Bryson, but to me, who had never really been under a car, I'm like, this is cramped, and so, but we were able to make
You
it
took
work.
a kick to the head too. On
Well, yeah.
Sorry.
So
I was moving around, and you were
Yeah.
down there, and
there I was, innocently
Kick
My
the camera.
foot-
waiting for them to get one bolt off. That took them like hours.
here's the funny thing about that project that we don't
No,
show.
let me finish because I'm
Oh,
not
I'm
done
sorry.
complaining.
Sorry.
And anyway, and I was just minding my own business, looking at my phone. And all of a sudden, I get this massive foot comes flying towards my forehead, and it goes. And it didn't like hurt that bad. It was just more shocking than anything. You're like, what did I hit? Like you're like, I'm like, on my head. Anyway,
Well, he
Sorry.
didn't leave a mark, so it couldn't have
Yeah.
been that
it really
dramatic.
wasn't that bad. It was more like. He just kicked my face. I'm not safe here.
But you found another position, and then
Okay, at the end, because I always do things the hard way first, I found a place like on top of the semi that was like a perfect shot down into the part, which was way better than anything
Between,
I
like,
could
the
have gotten
trailer
behind them.
hitch area.
Yes, it worked out good.
It worked out
It worked
super good.
really
I wish
well.
I had been there the whole time because I could have gotten. Well, they really weren't doing the actual work
You needed
until
some unique
then.
shots, though, so it wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was fun. No, it wasn't fun, but I'm glad that we did it because I think it was good.
Yep,
Yeah.
took one for the team. Thank you.
That project
These
was
guys were like
very
obviously doing the hard work.
interesting. It was because it was like we had 4 bolts, five bolts in total, and it literally took us all day to get all those out.
Mm-hmm.
It's the silliest thing, and it was because they either stripped out. But yeah, and what was crazy though is that the project, which you don't know about, but it actually went into the second day because we had to go get that bolt, and we had to drive hours away. And we're like, we're gonna drive like 2 hours away to go get this one bolt. And the funny thing is we couldn't even get that one bolt. We had to buy it in a package with all the other stuff that came with it. And we go in there and we talk about it, and that guy that's there selling it goes, yeah, most people just look for the bolt. We don't sell that. We have to sell them the whole thing. Like, what? You mean there's more people who look for this bolt? Because you can't find it anywhere else.
It's
The
'cause
threads, everything is different on it.
Was it specific to the semi-truck?
I
brand?
think it's pretty
Yeah.
specific to the brand,
Okay.
which is why it was so hard to get hold of. But, man, we drove all the way up there, literally got that and drove back.
Then you were ready to go.
Yes, and then we put it in place, and it was perfect, which was a good thing because we didn't want to put the stripped one back in there, even though we kind of could have. I just don't think it would have been a very
It
wise
was like kicking a
idea.
can down the road.
Yeah, like if you had to replace it down the road, or other things would not been.
Nope.
And no,
Glad
it
you-
would have been a good
it's
thing.
probably best to get the new bolt.
Yeah.
Just something about
a-
your driveline dropping in the middle of a freeway at 70 mile an hour that could be
Little.
not good.
I think
Might wanna
that's
think a little
actually
bit
kind of
about that
fun, though.
No, not fun.
You know?
What was it? Oh my gosh, that reminds me. Around Garen and Ellie's house, there's one road that has a lot of like
Hills?
like hills,
Like-
on the road, like really quickly
Mm-hmm.
together. And I'm gonna say this, but my memory's not great. But so I'm gonna do this to the best of my recollection. But they had a joyrider that was in this car, and they came down into that, and their entire transmission dropped out of their vehicle.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
and it had like a big dent and stuff there for a little while. I think I don't know if it's still there, but your entire the entire tranny dropped.
That would be something.
Could you
my gosh.
imagine? Somebody
Maybe-
did not
Oops.
mount that very well.
Yeah. They use stripped bolts.
Yeah.
Tell me,
Yep.
they had someone like me putting the bolts on.
Oh, you did a
because
good
I
job.
forget bolts. You will not believe the amount of bolts I've,
Don't tell
we were-
Perry this.
I
Uncle
did.
Perry doesn't
We only had
I
5
did.
to keep track
I
of.
said,
We're
Perry,
good.
I said, Perry, please double check my bolts because I've forgotten them in the past.
Yeah.
We were talking about the Suzuki. I forgot to tighten them down, like the part of the air
Manifolds.
manifold, and it just leaked. The air manifold leaked,
Just
and then we
basically
lost
shook
power
loose.
and all kinds of stuff because
Yeah.
I forgot about those like bolts. I had them there, I just didn't tighten them. And then on the truck, the radiator in the
Exhaust and
front,
radiator, yeah.
I never put those bolts in. I could have sworn I put those bolts in, but I didn't. And the radiator was just
We
loose.
drove it for months like that.
Drove for so long, and I popped the hood. And I'm like, wait, how long has that been like that? And I was like, where's the bolts? And I looked everywhere for them. We had to take them
You're
off.
so meticulous too, so it's amazing that
I
you
usually
forgot
am
that.
really delicate. I always think I get all of them in. It's the same with the projects. I always think I did it perfect.
Oh, yeah, it's never
I spent
you.
hours
No.
putting this thing together. It's perfect. I come back a day later. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a mess. Look at this again.
You and me, we're just like, no, it's not me. I did a perfect job. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
what do you
No,
mean I
and
did a perfect
it was
job?
that
Yeah.
that thing's fault. And I
The
just- I did
bumpy
great.
dirt road knocked the bolts out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Let's
me.
blame it on the road. It can't defend itself. Good job.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't want to blame it on a person or a tool or something else. I want the road.
Yeah.
Well, any more comments?
I think that does it for us this week here.
Wow.
Is there? Do we
okay.
have any other personal comments that we wanted to make on behind the
Personal
scenes?
comments.
Any unique things happen with the videos, filming or editing, or any? We had to edit on the road, so
Well, we might want to say that everything was done with an iPhone. Can we do that?
Can
Well, I
we? We're
just
doing
did.
it. yeah, we did
we
everything
did
with
little
an iPhone.
cameras this time instead of bringing out the big guns. So
yeah,
That's right, they
because
were
you're
all
traveling
films.
and stuff, and
yeah. So we kind of flopped between the iPhone 7 Plus, which is really difficult to color, and then Bree's iPhone 11, which
yeah,
was
she
beautiful.
just got
And she did that walk around. You did that walk around the glass house, and incredible stabilizer on that phone. I'm really, really impressed. I texted Garen and said, hey, check out that scene and watch what that camera does. And he was very, very pleased with it, too.
Sweet.
So
It's amazing. I don't think I've ever seen a stabilizer in any piece of equipment that's as smooth as that.
yeah,
It is pretty
we
just
thought
insane.
we thought the GoPro 8 was good.
Yeah.
But I think that one might
But
even
now
be
it's
better.
like, I don't know.
Whoa.
iPhone
No.
11.
And it's like
Yeah.
it's your phone too, and it's got this beautiful big screen on there. You know,
Yeah, I always think
Yeah.
that when
so
I'm
you really can see it.
when I'm doing it.
It even makes phone calls.
well, the thing about the whole screen, is you know, like the GoPro, you're looking at a little square window, and it's
Yeah.
got to fit all that stuff
Yeah.
in there.
It's pretty
And
amazing.
on the iPhone, you got this whole like play area, like
Well, yeah, I always think that it's going crazy and everything's going to be jolty because it's reflective, the screen is, and I know how much I'm moving, and then whatever's reflecting back at me looks like, oh my gosh, this is not going to turn out. And then when we get it out, it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
that was amazing. And I noticed
is-
too, like the closer you zoom in, the more stabilization you get. It seemed
Oh,
like
that's good.
so.
I think they can crop more and more of the screen to get that stabilization.
It seems like they do.
because I guess it's all digital. I guess, isn't it? Which means
Yes.
your wide angle is actually wider.
I know. I was thinking about that. I was like, man, how much is this actually capturing?
Because it's probably cutting
180.
some off to make that stabilization.
I was going to say too that we actually were going to have the whole dress completed on this video. Well, that was the plan. And Garen and Ellie were also going to do some van conversion stuff, but we had to kind of veer and do something a little different because we are on the road and we needed to get their footage, and it was too large.
It was 20 minutes. That's not going over easy.
Yeah, and not only that, that with the higher camera and stuff that Garen and Ellie have now, it just wasn't, we weren't going to be able to do it. So he said, okay, we'll go and we'll do an update on our aquaponics, and that's why they kind of had a pretty short segment. We'll probably get a lot more of them this Friday now, and a lot more. He said they didn't really do a whole lot with the van conversion anyway because they were doing a lot of planning. So they appreciated a week to kind of put that together. And then of course, Shae, we were going to do the whole dress because she did complete the dress, but we just could not get that footage
Put together in time.
Yeah, we couldn't get it. We couldn't get it
get it
transferred to us.
Yeah.
And
To
so
figure out a
that
better way to do
we were a
that.
little bit limited at last week, but we'll kick into gear again this Friday.
It's gonna be epic.
Yeah.
Yeah, this marks our last day on the road for a little bit. So
Yeah.
so
Hopefully.
it's
It's
fun.
always fun to go
Yeah.
visit places though, and we didn't find any people to interview this time.
Yeah.
And that's really a lot of fun to do
kind
too.
of the consequence of going to ghost towns. There's not really too many people to interview. You know,
Just ghosts.
Just
you know.
ghosts.
And ghosts really don't
they
talk
don't
that
talk
much.
much.
Yeah.
No.
yeah, and they
Hard to get them on
actually-
camera too.
They
Yeah.
did have some funky little area right before we left town that we were asked about too, and so we have some really fun footage in there. I don't know if I can play that or not. I don't know if we can find
We'll
a
see it.
spot for that, but
Yeah.
it didn't really fit with the rest of the town and what the rest of the town was about. It was this old town from the early
Yeah.
1900s, and that one I don't
It
know,
didn't
that
really
must have come
vibe.
later, so we
Yeah.
decided to cut that. But Gary is hilarious in it, so I don't know if I can try to pull that.
Maybe
into
we'll like
something.
just grab bloopers and like
Yeah.
Pull 'em in.
I don't know. We'll do something. I know that there was like one with a paint thing on it too that was kind of fun. I don't know. I don't know.
you got in.
There was a lot of eye rolling and giggling. So,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah. Well, anyway, we really appreciate you hanging out with us, being part of our family. We are going to be back again on Wednesday. I don't know what it's going to be. You just never know as the week unfolds because it's usually filmed and put together sometimes the day of. You know, we'd love to really push that timeline forward, don't we? So, well, not by choice. Sometimes you just can't do it. So, anyway, thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you on Wednesday for another new video.